the Pwani University bus. You can see that footage on your screens right now. In the first one, the bus is captured avoiding an oncoming vehicle, and then it goes off screen. And then the other footage, we see it in the very, very last moments. So sad. So sad. Once again, my very sincere condolences to all those who have been touched by this tragedy. And those recovering in hospital, I pray for quick recovery for them, and even quick recovery from the trauma and horror they must have gone through being inside this bus. The writing is on the wall. Mene mene tekel apasin. Incidentally, those words written many centuries ago on the wall by Almighty God himself were in a political situation. A leader was being told, it is all over. Your kingdom has come to an end. The name of that leader, of course, was King Belshazzar, son of the very famous King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. In our precious motherland of Kenya, the writing is very clearly on the wall. And a perfect way of illustrating where our country is today. Kenya is that bus hurtling down the hill with the brakes not working. The brakes have failed, and the lights of this bus are flashing, and it is hooting very loudly. But many of those vehicles in front are not paying attention. Some people on the bus are asleep. They have no idea what is happening. They have no idea that there's danger. That is exactly where we are as a country today. A trend emerged that is very, very scary. We saw several instances where the people, the wananchi, were able to overcome the security forces, overrun them, and take full control. Okay? Now this tells you that the numbers coming out for these protests are not small. Because it takes a huge crowd to overcome. Trained policemen prepared for that particular scenario. It's not as easy as it may look, but sheer numbers can easily do it. So you need to ask yourself the question, is this really Raila versus the government, or is it the people versus the government? That's a very important question that you need to answer for yourself. Now, the government strategy of dealing with the Azimio protests remained the same, consistent with what we saw on day 2 last Monday. There was another attempt to raid a farm belonging to former President Uhuru Kenyatta. And then there was a very deliberate effort to prove that the protests are violent and it is resulting in the loss of property, loss and damage of property. Some people stationed themselves on Twitter almost the whole day, posting videos of people being robbed. And of course, some of these videos were not from Thursday. We all know that criminals live amongst us, and they'll of course take advantage of any situation to continue with their bad habits. But what was going on Twitter yesterday and right across social media was very organized, pre-arranged, carefully planned, and well executed. And there was a very fascinating incident that unfolded in the Mathare slums. Mothers came out, knelt down before the riot police and pleaded with them to stop hurling tear gas into their houses. They told them, there's no problem here. There's no need for you to do what you're doing. And the shamefaced policemen hung their heads very low and walked away in shame, went back to their vehicles and drove away. Now that was a very fascinating incident, and it speaks volumes. It tells us, for instance, indeed it is true that our dear security boys are going out there looking for trouble, triggering trouble, chokozing trouble. That is really what it is. Told to us, shown to us very clearly. Now the reaction of big Western powers to what is unfolding in Kenya has changed very dramatically since Monday, and many Kenyans are puzzled as to why. Now let's get a few things straight. Foreign powers and foreign governments don't care about you, ordinary Kenyans. Don't. They care about the ordinary citizen of their own country. They have more than they can deal with on their plate, dealing with their people back home. It's very important we get this into our heads. The reason why they have changed, wait for this one, has been triggered by the incident last Monday where the farm of the widow of Kenya's first president, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, that widow of course is Mama Ngina Kenyatta, was raided and very expensive sheep imported from South Africa taken away. I'm told this sheep cost between 45,000 Kenya shillings upwards. They're not just ordinary sheep. They're not your Kenyaji sheep. We have a lot of foreigners in the country who own large tracts of land. They also own businesses. And of course these people are very nervous right now after what happened on Monday. And some of these Western powers I'm talking about were involved triggering the problem Kenya is in right now. Yeah, they were bombers. They did pop, 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 pop. So-and-so is duly elected. And don't dare think of opening the servers. Maneno kwisha. Elections are over. Let's move on. But now these same Western powers have a problem. They have to protect their nationals at all costs. Now it appears that some of them have come to the conclusion that the best way of solving this problem is to find a way of solving this problem as quickly as possible. And of course the only way of doing that is going back to the root cause of the problem and dealing with that. I'm sure you know what I mean. Yeah, this is not good news for the UDA government. Captured on video by John Allan Namu, previously of KTN and company. I'm sure most of you viewed that footage. It's a horror story. Now, in case you have not heard, this particular footage has made it to various international news organizations. It has been viewed by people all over the world, including powerful Western nations and their decision makers. Indeed, I believe, and I said this yesterday on our Telegram forum, that one day when historians refer to this day, they will say this particular video footage was the turning point in many ways. The turning point of the fight for electoral justice in Kenya.